It's easy work boxing. I know it's late. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people sleep, but y'all got to know, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel, you know, fuck with your boy Easy Work. I told y'all what was going to happen with Gary Russell Jr., that he was going to lose. And I feel that Gary Russell Jr. was making a lot of excuses from jump about this fight. Now, I take nothing away from Gary Russell Jr. This is not the bad Gary Russell Jr., nor be biased towards him. But I told y'all when he came out with that injury report that he wasn't going to win this fight. Now, to talk about the fight from the highlights that I seen, it wasn't an entertaining fight. Both of them really didn't look that good. You can blame the injury of Gary Russell Jr. to his part of it, but Mark really showed uh, he's he's lacking a lot of skills as far as being a boxer. Mark, he really showed that tonight. I'm sure once Gary Russell watched the tape of this fight, he would be very disappointed that he lost to Mark. Um, After me watching the highlights, I was disappointed that he lost to Mark because I was like, I thought Mark would do way better than he did against Gary Russell Jr. Now, is it a robbery under championship rules? Yes, but championship rules are not official. You know, they ain't stamped. You know, so under championship rules, what championship rules are, if you don't knock the champion down or embarrass the champion or knock him down multiple times, then you don't leave with a champion belt. And Mark didn't do that to Gary Russell Jr. So by championship rules, he shouldn't have walked away with his title. But you know that don't matter. You know, by concubine, by him landing and throwing more punches. Gary really wasn't doing anything. Uh, Neither was Mark really doing anything, but Mark was landing the more punches. Mark was making the fight. Gary was just fighting off the back foot, throwing, tapping, you know, straight left hand. And I told y'all that fast hand shit wasn't gonna work this fight. Gary's gonna have to go out there and put a whooping on his boy or be dominant against this boy, and he didn't do that. You know, true enough, he was injured. I take nothing away from that, but the fight wasn't entertaining to me. I think they both could have did way better towards each other, and you know, the best man won. But I got to talk about Gary Russell Jr. You know, I can't think of the guy's name who asked him the question after the fight, but he asked Gary. He was like, "So Gary," he said, "if you was injured," he said, "why didn't you postpone the fight?" Gary Russell Jr. say, "Well, I'm a soldier, you know, I'm a warrior. I didn't want to postpone the fight, you know what I'm saying, due to, you know what I'm saying, I didn't want to hurt the fans or, you know, make the fans think that I wasn't going to fight." But then you got to ask yourself this question. Gary Russell Jr., you ain't fought in 2 years. What would have been an extra 2 months or delaying the fight instead of you going out there losing your title with an injury? You see what I'm saying? I had a guy get on here the other day and got mad because I said to me it sounded like an excuse. But if you already haven't fought in 2 years, why wouldn't you just sit back and wait, get your arm ready, and then go in there and defend your title? You see what I'm saying? So everything I know, we seen the injury, we seen the injury in the fight. We seen him say, you know, or him, you know, come across as hurt in the fight. But at the same time, y'all just listen to what I'm saying and hear me out on this. Like the guy asked him, if you were injured, why would you come into a fight with an injury? You haven't fought in 2 years. You see what I'm saying? Why would you come into a fight with an injury? You know, it doesn't matter if Gary, you know, saying that he has levels to this, which he does. You've seen the skill set, you've seen the ring IQ from Gary Russell Jr. But at the end of the day, why would you put yourself in that position to lose your fight, to lose your title, when all you had to do was just postpone the fight? Let's see, I told y'all that fast hand, that pity pat straight hand, jabbing and straight left hand shit wasn't gonna work. He was gonna have to go out there and beat this boy up. And Gary didn't do that. And I know it because he was injured. I understand that. I'm not saying I'm expecting him to be Superman with an injury, but what I'm saying is I was expecting at least even with the arm for Gary to do more than what he was doing. Just standing there and moving around and you know, come on, y'all. If you saying that's a robbery, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know what to say for you. You know, you probably a Gary Russell Jr. fan like that, and you just wanted to see him win. But really, Gary wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing enough to keep his belt, man. And I'm not a Gary Russell hater. I just tell the truth, you know. And I just think differently from people when it comes to this sport in life. And he should have never got in there with an injury. You know what I'm saying? You already been out 2 years. Would have been some months. It wouldn't have made a difference. So, I'm not accepting the robbery. I'm not accepting the injury excuse. Not a hater of Gary Russell Jr. It's just that I'm not going to let that ride with me. After 2 years, you could have stayed out 3 more months. It wouldn't have made us a difference because, to be honest with y'all, Gary Russell is not that much of an exciting fighter. Only reason people really be screaming for him because he does have them skills. He does have a good skill set, and he does have fast hands. But we know for a fact, come on, y'all, it wasn't no robbery. Gary did not do enough. And yes, it was probably because he was injured, but he shouldn't have gotten a ring in the first place with an injury, and you've been out for 2 years. We could have waited 3 more months. You see what I'm saying? So I told y'all he was going to win. I don't know when people going to start understanding. Y'all need to start rocking with your boy. Y'all need to start telling more people about my channel. I may not have the best channel. I ain't got all the edits and all the intros and all that, but I be right on this boxing, man. As y'all see, I be right on this boxing. I told y'all Gary was going to lose tonight. And that's what happened. Gary lost tonight. I said by knockout, though. By 11-round knockout, but that didn't happen either. But I told y'all. But, shout out to both fighters. Shout out to Gary Russell Jr. Shout out to Mark. They both gave us entertainment. What gave y'all entertainment? I couldn't watch the fight. It was on Showtime. But shout out to them both for, stepping in the ring. You got to give a shout out to Mark for, jumping in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Trying to take Gary's title. I see Devin Haney, talking a lot of trash right now on Fight Hype about Gary Russell Jr. But you wouldn't even send a featherweight a fair contract to fight. So you dissing him right now. You know what I'm saying? I understand the beef and you want to kick him while he down. You know how it go. But at the same time, you didn't want to send a featherweight a fair contract. So before you diss him, you didn't want to fight him. But one thing I do feel sorry for is Mark, because Mark is like a 10-piece chicken wing plate, and somebody gonna eat him up real soon, because he looked horrible in that fight against him. He was hesitating, lost his jab, was throwing punches in the air. Trust me, whoever is at 126 want to be unified, they coming for his ass. They coming for him. But 126 ain't that great. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Leo Santa Cruz finna come at that ass. Leo on that ass ASAP. Watch what I tell you. They probably call Al Heyman tonight. Nah, Leo up at 130. Leo at 130 now. But Mark wasn't amazing to me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Mark was horrible to me. He did enough to pull it off, but Mark, hell no. I'm sure when Gary Russell Jr. watched that fight, he'll be like, damn, I lost to this dude. But true enough, probably because of the injury, even though Mark said he punched Gary in that shoulder and it probably brought back the injury or made it worse. But, Gary did start off throwing that right hand until he got punched in that shoulder. So, Gary lost his title, but I felt like he shouldn't have stepped in the ring anyway. We could have waited 3 more months. It wasn't like Gary Russell Jr. is a Mike Tyson, and by that I mean like it wasn't like we just patiently waiting, or we just too eager to see Gary Russell Jr. We are not. I mean, come on now. You know what I'm saying? He's a hell of a fighter, hell of a skill set. Risk his life every time he get in the ring. Just my opinion, and I just speak how it is. But shout out to both of them. This Easy Work Boxing. Thank y'all for y'all time, y'all love, and y'all support. I'm out. Also, if you want to subscribe to a new channel called Boxing Truth, please subscribe to that channel. Go to the description. Also in the description, you will see if you want to support the channel. I appreciate you. I'm out.